If you have been thinking about a quiz for your business, for your marketing, you're going to love this episode. This is a very special episode because we're bringing on Josh from Interact, and they are one of our amazing sponsors for the Elevate and Inspire event that is coming up in just a few weeks here in Norfolk. And Interact and Subflow are our two generous sponsors that are making so many cool parts of this event possible, including the venue, the prizes, the swag bags, just so many ways that we are spoiling our attendees, bringing some of our incredible entrepreneur high school students to the event. None of that would be possible if it was not for Interact and Subflow. So this is a very special episode where I'm bringing on Josh from Interact, and you can meet Mitch from Subflow in one of our past episodes. So let me tell you a little bit about Interact because I use this platform. I love this platform. We've actually done an episode with Kylie Lang, who is an amazing quiz expert who also uses Interact and referred me to use Interact. So Interact is the platform that we use to build these quizzes for marketing. And it's all about connecting brands and customers at this human level. And Josh and his team's mission is to empower digital entrepreneurs, creators, and brands that are just like you to grow your business through empathetic listening, deeper understanding, and true connection. And they truly wake up and focus on building tools that take a very human-centered approach to digital marketing. And you guys know that that is my jam over here as a professional community builder. Josh is so incredibly kind, and he really is committed to helping people one-on-one, sitting next to you, building your quiz. It's so incredible to see a founder and CEO at that level of connection with their clients after the level of success that they have had. They have, I think he mentions in the episode, over 7,000 users that use this platform to build their quiz, to grow their audience, to get more leads. So I'm just really excited for you guys to meet Josh and get to know him and learn a little bit about using quizzes for your marketing, and you're going to leave with ideas. I wrote down 5 new ideas to create a quiz in my business. Like, this is super easy and inspiring. So let's get started. Welcome back to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson. This podcast is your space, your corner of the world to be messy, creative, and ambitious as you want to be. I'm incredibly passionate about helping people do what they love and make a living doing it. We all know that is a messy process, but the messy imperfection, the messy success is what makes it all so beautiful. I'm here to help you build community around your brand so that marketing is easy. There's no such thing as a self-made millionaire, in my opinion. We're all in this together. We shine the light on others, focus on leadership. And our theme here for 2024 is the 1% adventure, where we're getting 1% better every single day. So what do you say we get started? Hey, Josh. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to have you here on the Messy Success Podcast. I have told everyone a little bit about you, but tell us who you are and what exactly Interact is.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me on. I'll be seeing you in person at the conference later this month
Yeah,
now
it's coming
because it
up.
is April. Wow, how does time work? Um, so my background, I'm a lifelong entrepreneur. I started my first company when I was 15 years old, buying and selling electronics. I grew up in a recession time and couldn't get a job, so I made one. And then in college, I met a couple of co-founders that I have a huge amount of respect for. Incredible programmer, incredible designer. We just kind of like saw each other's work and we're like, we should do something together because we're a good pairing. And that was the origins of Interact. We started working on it and built out a quiz platform that anybody can use to make a quiz. That was inspired by our own work because we were doing a bunch of websites for people. One of those websites had a quiz on it, and the quiz statistics just like blow everything out of the water. And that's still the case. It's a very, very powerful tool. But yeah, the last 11 years now, that's what we've been doing. We have a team of 13 full time now, and we help over 7,000 customers generate leads, make sales, engage their audience using fun quizzes. And it's all fun. That's the best part of it. It's like it's actually an enjoyable experience for everybody all around.
Yeah, every time I talk to people about quizzes, we kind of laugh about like the little teen magazines we used to read as a kid, right? Like how to know if he's right for you. And it was like, but that was where everybody went. They wanted to go straight to those quiz pages. And as human beings, like we haven't changed. We love like these self-assessment programs and personality quizzes, and being able to bring that into your business, I think is so cool. But first, I want to hear more about this buying and selling of electronics. Were you of like the eBay times? I feel like you're too young for that.
No, no, I was well. So it was buy on Craigslist.
Okay.
Well, so that ages me because Craigslist is not really that much of a thing anymore. And then sell on either eBay or Craigslist. So what I found was, and this is still a huge problem, when people's computers break, they don't know what to do.
Mhm.
And most of the time, they don't go through the effort of figuring out what's wrong, why is it broken, how can I fix it, and they're just like it's basically trash.
Yeah.
So they would be throwing it away. I'd step in and buy those computers and then fix them because I knew how to fix all the common problems, and then resell. And I was making great money as
Oh
a high
my
schooler.
gosh, I bet that makes
Um,
great money because I'm sitting here thinking about all the electronics that I don't know what to do with.
yeah, seriously. And then it's an even bigger problem at like an institutional and a governmental scale. So the same problem happens in the government and with institutions. They have
Mm,
pallets of laptops that they phase them out or they get funding to buy new ones and they basically would be throwing them away, which creates a huge environmental problem
huge, yeah, and I know
because
I have a lot of environmentalists in my circle, and I'm like, "We do not want electronics and those types of things in the landfills."
no, I mean the batteries are terrible. Like the stuff that's in there is just really bad for the environment. So not only right, like they're just basically going to throw them away, and it's wasteful because they still work,
Yeah.
but it's bad for the environment. And then if you come in and you know what to do and you know how to fix them, then you can resell and make a huge margin. So that was probably one of my favorite things that I've ever worked on. It was like really, really enjoyable, especially because like both sides were enjoying it. Because then the person who buys a used laptop is still saving a huge amount over retail, like probably 50% off on average
Yeah.
over retail. Um, but it's perfectly functioning. And I had, you know, people that would buy laptops from me that would work for 5, 7 years that were basically dead.
Yeah.
Um, it was really cool. It was fun.
Oh my god, that's so awesome, and how old were you when you started that, you said?
15.
Oh my gosh, so you were literally doing
Yeah.
this before you even, like, lived on your own.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as soon as I could get my driver's permit, that was when I started driving around, and I would force an adult to go with me because and that's how the driver's permit works. You have to have an adult with you to force somebody to go with me and pick them up. And then as soon as I was on my own, I had my own driver's license. I was completely truant from school
Oh my
because
god,
they're
that's so
like
cool. So
half
have
the
you
time.
ever had a real, like, corporate America 9 to 5 job, or is it's just been entrepreneurs?
No, no, I never had a 9 to 5 job. I did have an internship at Gallo Winery,
Okay.
which is the biggest winery in the world, and that was super great experience. I got a Lean Six Sigma black belt,
Mhm.
which is like operation supply chain logistics, and that's been super helpful in building Interact. I had the best manager there. He was like, for some reason, decided to invest in me as a I don't know, 19-year-old college student. But I learned a ton of lessons there. But that was the only job that I've had.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it, it's so cool. I love meeting like serial entrepreneurs because I did have a couple real jobs, but I feel like I've always been a serial entrepreneur, like either on the
Hmm.
side hustles or just knowing that that life wasn't necessarily for me. So, okay, let's talk about like the early days of Interact. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but I know like when people say like, what platform do I use for quizzes? I mean, Interact is really the only one that I hear about. I feel like you guys have done a really good job of kind of like being like the go-to company for this. But what was it like when you just got started? Of like, did you always know it was going to be quizzes, or did you have like a different idea? How did this evolve?
Yeah, yeah, it's hilarious. You know, Wayback Machine, like where you can go look at old like screenshots of websites. You go to August of 2013 and you look at tryinteract.com. The web page is eerily similar to what it is now. Like the
Really?
colors have changed, the design is updated. Basically says the exact same thing. It's like make a quiz to get leads and grow your business.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, nothing has changed. And I think that's why we are the name brand in the market. There was no market when we launched. So the initial like feedback and challenge that we had to overcome, the objection was people did not understand the difference between a school quiz, like an academic quiz, and a quiz like for business and lead
Mm.
gen. That was literally the feedback. And it's kind of silly to think about that now because I haven't heard that in like I don't know, 7 years. But for the first few years, that was a huge pushback. Was like, why would anybody take a quiz? I thought that was for school, and you have to do like get a grade. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Um, so we had lots of different competitors come and go. I think no one had the patience to wait it out
Mm.
the way that we did. And my co-founder and I kind of laugh about this because like we're just very dedicated people when we decide to do something, and that I think is the reason why we stuck with it and we just kept building and building and building and like slowly improving things over time. And the first 5 years there was very few customers. Then it started to kind of trickle in, and then like the last handful of years it's really been where it's like, okay, this is a legitimate option for lead gen.
Mm-hmm.
And then starting this year with our AI implementation, which we can talk about, but the AI is making all the quizzes now, not all of them, but like half of them.
Yeah.
Um, and that's where I think we can now actually enter like the mainstream because writing a quiz is a huge setback for most people.
Yeah.
So
Well, and then
yeah, that's kind of
understanding,
like
I
the
know
arc.
when Kylie helped me build my quiz, like understanding, okay, I can come up with this quiz idea, but then building everything out is what felt so daunting is and what I'm sure holds a lot of people back on like how do I actually make this quiz really fun and then make the answers take people to the right place.
Yeah, and like I won't sugarcoat how much goes into that. I mean, it took me and my team like 16 months, and like I mean, we wrote probably close to 1,000 pages of like documentation and prompts to get the AI to be able to know how to write a good quiz.
Mm-hmm.
And it just really jumped out at me. I'm like, oh, like this is why it's so challenging because unless you have time to basically like read a book about making a quiz, it's just not practical. And unless you have the resources to hire an expert, which some people do, but most don't, you really are kind of out of options, and then it's just not a practical thing. So
Yeah.
it's been a huge game changer the last like 4 months that's been live.
Yeah, yeah. And I've seen a lot, I don't know recently, but I feel like when quizzes were kind of first coming about and people were trying to DIY a lot of quizzes, it was like, which Disney princess are you most like when you're working, right? And it's like, sure, those
Hmm.
are fun, but are they really hitting pain points and kind of converting into like the leads and sales where it's like, okay, my quiz might not be as fun, but it's like kind of gets people to find the answer that they want. Like mine's more built around like what's stopping you from having a really engaged community, and it's like ooh, people want to know the answer to that, whereas like Disney princess, that's fun, but then getting that to apply to their pain point in your business I think is more challenging. So, do you see
Yeah.
a lot of people that like kind of have an idea of like, oh, I want to do a quiz about this, but then realize like, oh, I don't know if that's actually going to take people on the customer journey I want them to?
Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting because I'd say there's two real sticking points for us, and we have a quiz that helps with this. Because our whole product basically is a quiz now. It's a very advanced version of a quiz, but it
Mm,
is a quiz. So the first sticking point is just like, I don't even know what to make a quiz about. And that's like the first part of how our AI works. Like you put it in your website, you tell the AI what you do, you tell the AI, who your customers are and how you help your customers, and then it gives you suggestions you can choose from. If you already know your idea, you can just skip that step and put in your idea.
mm-hmm,
And then the next part of it is where you ask it. It asks you a few more questions, like what do you want the quiz to focus on? Are there any specific like results you want to show? And then it generates all the questions and the logic and the results, because that is where the most people get stuck, is like writing questions that are fun but also, like you said, like leads people to something that's actually practical and related to your business.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it has to be fun but still connected to your business, because yeah, in the beginning, right, there was lots of examples where someone would do something like a princess quiz or a personality quiz, and it would get tens of thousands or millions of views, and no one would convert to a customer. And then on the other side, we had a lot of people where they would do something that was like highly related to their business, but just super boring.
Mm-hmm.
And then no one would take it. So you need to be in the middle of those two, where it needs to be fun, but also related to your business. And that's where I mean the AI, everybody's doing the hype about AI and whatnot, but I do think that is where AI is better than humans,
Mm,
is because it's unbiased. When you program it the way that we did, where you are basically telling it to be in the middle of those two things, and then we gave it a bunch of examples of how that actually looks so
mm,
that it can learn on those examples. uh, it's very good at doing that without bias, because as a business owner, it's really hard to not err on the side of like, oh, I need this to make sales, or I need this to be really fun. It's really hard to be in the middle.
yeah, yeah, it is.
So I'd say that's where like a computer, which is the AI, is actually better at figuring that out.
Yeah. Well, and you guys that have been doing this for so long, being able to really identify what makes a good quiz stand out, which is actually a really good question. What would you say are some of the things that make a quiz kind of have that good balance of entertaining and informational?
Yeah. So you alluded to this already, but the best starting place for any quiz is like what question your audience has that they're trying to
Mm,
answer,
mm-hmm.
that you are uniquely positioned to help with, right?
Yeah.
Like some people will call that like the what is that, like your zone of genius or your vocation or your gift, is
Yeah.
like where people have a question and you are uniquely good at helping them solve that question or solve that problem. That's like one approach. Then the other approach is like, what goal are people trying to reach? Like what's their aspiration? Like what are they going for?
Mm,
And then again, how are you uniquely positioned to help them reach that goal and like get to that dream state? And so you either take that question or that goal, and then you just kind of flip it around into a question,
yeah.
which becomes the title of the quiz. So let's say like somebody's goal is like to live a life of more freedom while they still make good money, right? So it's like, then you would turn that around into a quiz title. And I'm blanking because again, humans are not very good at this. I would put that into the AI and it would tell me in like 4 seconds, like six good examples. But just spitballing, I'd say like, how are you going to reach your dreams without sacrificing the life you love?
Mm,
And that would be like the quiz title.
yeah.
And then your answers to that, as long as you keep it in that vein of like, what are you good at? Then the answers to that question are the results of the quiz. And they're just the answers that you would tell people. Like, not everybody should take the same path to building a business. Like, just doesn't make any sense. Like, some
Right.
people are better at like optimizing things and being really organized and like having a system and a plan in place. And then other people that's their version of a nightmare, and they would rather be creative and come up with ideas and try a bunch of different things and like, just kind of go off the cuff, right? And so those are two very distinct different answers that you would have when someone comes to you with the question of like, how do I build a business without sacrificing my life? You have two different answers right there. And usually we recommend getting up to like three or four different answers, which are the results of the quiz.
Mm-hmm.
And then you work backwards from there and you're like, okay, so what do I have to ask people to know which answer I would tell them? And like, if someone was standing in front of me, what would I ask?
Yeah.
And that's like the litmus test. Like, force yourself to ask it as if someone was standing in front of you, because if you don't, your questions are going to be like very cringy, like really bad. And I think people get tripped up with the tonality and like the way of writing the questions because they think it's supposed to be like this really special thing, but in reality it's just like, if that person was standing in front of you who's like your ideal customer and they have this question for you, then what are you going to ask them to like
Yeah.
figure out what you would recommend to them?
Yeah. To get
And
more
if you
clarity.
hold yourself to that, and then you do 5 to 7 questions, 5 to 7 is like the ideal range. And then basically every question has an answer choice that corresponds to one of the results of the quiz.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how you build the logic. Um, and again, the AI follows exactly what I just said. It's just has a lot more like examples built into it where there's all these like formats of questions, like Mad Lib,
Mm-hmm.
and it has like most of the question format already built in, and the AI fills in the blanks because we've been doing this for 11 years. We know what types of questions get people to respond,
Mm.
and so it's pre-programmed in. So your quiz will basically select like the best 5 formats or the best 7 formats for your particular site, and the AI is going to read your site, so it's going to know um, what works for you, and it'll pick the right question formats and the right result formats for you based on your brand.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so great. Some really advice I got, really good advice I got once was when you speak about your business, like almost talk like you're talking to a 12-year-old. And because we just tend to like think that we need to make everything cute and catchy and branded, but really it's like, no, if we make the questions really simple, like you said, you have someone sitting at the table with you that has the problem that you solve. What questions are you going to ask to pull that information out of them? You're not going to be worried about making it cute and catchy the way that we do when we sit down to write. Like our brains tend to think differently in conversation versus copywriting. And I think that's just such a great point for business overall is let's bring it back to the conversation place to pull that information out of people. Um, so the AI is that's all live on the website now, right? Because I don't know if that was there when I built my quiz, like almost a year and a half, 2 years ago.
I know it's we started working on it like November of 2022,
Okay.
and then we put it live January of 2024.
Yeah.
So just a few months ago.
Oh my gosh, so cool.
And yeah, like I said, 50% of the quizzes that are made now are made through that AI tool,
Yeah.
and has great ratings, great reviews. Takes about a minute.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's about all it takes. And the questions that it asks you to make the quiz are stuff that's like no brainer questions. Like,
Yeah.
what does your business do? Easy. Um, and it also, it's a good way to kind of get your brain thinking about like, what do I do and how do I help people? But yeah, it generates quizzes in a minute and it's highly powerful. It uses OpenAI, but like I said, we feed it with a really enormous amount of examples to make it very fine tuned
Mm-hmm.
to each use case. So it can be eerily good. Like we'll run websites through it, of clients who have quizzes, and it's creepy,
Yeah.
like how close it is to the ones that they've actually made, previously, with their permission. Of course, we always try this, but yeah, it's it's really good. That's all I can say.
No,
It's
that's
like
so great. I mean,
it
I'm
blows
a
me
big
away.
fan of AI in the way of like not having a blank canvas, right? So I use it a couple different
Hmm.
ways. I'll use it to just like grammar check an email because I'm not the best with spelling and grammar. But then also where I really like it is when I'm helping a client, come up with social media ideas. It's like, cool. Well, let's just go to ChatGPT, tell them what you do for a living and that you want to write 10 different lead generation social media posts about this summer, right? Like a really specific, here's what I do for a living, here's what I want my marketing campaign to talk about, and it just eliminates that blank canvas. It just like, boom, here's 10 ideas. And then, okay, cool. We don't really like this word, but we know you use this word all the time. It's so easy to swap it out. And I think people get really intimidated by like AI is going to take over the world. I'm like, no, it's just literally saving us so much time.
Yeah, I mean, literally, how I think about it now is where can it plug in as a tool in our business, and that's basically what you said is what it's ideally for, and that's how it works within our business. Because the cool thing about the Interact AI is when you generate that quiz, it goes into your dashboard.
Mhm.
So I'm talking about our dashboard, and basically that's like a CMS for quizzes. So like your WordPress CMS where you have all your blog posts, but they're all quizzes, right? So you generate with AI, and then it goes in there where you can change it and edit it and make it more specific to your voice and all that kind of good stuff. Um, yeah, I totally think about it that way. It's just like, okay, we're launching this new initiative, we're working on this new feature. Like, how does AI fit into this?
Mhm.
Not the other way around, where it's like AI will do this thing because it's not there yet. I don't know if it will be there.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not. But I don't know. At this point, it doesn't really matter to me. I just see it as like, yeah, it's very
Yeah.
useful in some use cases. And how do we make sure that we use it in a way that helps our customers?
Yeah, yeah. Another area I've seen quizzes work really well is for people that serve clients that are all in different phases or different levels, right? So a lot of people that I work with, myself included, it's like we have an intermediate like way of working with us, then we have a middle way of working with us, and then there's like a super advanced. And the quiz is such a beautiful way where people can kind of self-identify where they are in this customer journey and like you get to custom take them to the right offer because otherwise someone just lands on our website, how are they going to know? And we have a lot of offers going on, right? Like, how are they going to know which one to buy? And I think a quiz is such a cool way where people can just like, boom, this is what I need. And I just go buy it.
Yeah, that's one of the most powerful ways to use it. And it's one of the recipes that's really baked into the AI is just a leveling assessment.
Mm,
And yeah, I mean, there's like that jam study from year 2000. It was like a Stanford study. It's like you put 40 jams in front of people, they don't pick one. You put 10 jams in front of people, they pick one.
mm,
And so less options means more sales. And
yes.
there's not really a good way to do less options without asking people what they actually need.
Mm-hmm.
And so a quiz is like by far the simplest way to do that. I mean, you think about like what Netflix or Amazon does with like making recommendations to you, that stuff costs them like billions of dollars to build.
Yeah.
But you can do basically the same thing, and the back end looks exactly the same. It's just less complex. It's the same logic system. It's the same ranking, weighting. You know, you know, that's what Netflix is doing. They're doing the same thing that a quiz does, just more complex.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been thinking a lot about websites and how I think we're really moving to a direction where the most successful websites are really only going to have like one CTA. Like, what do you want people to do? Do you want them to take this quiz or do you want them to book a call with you? Do you want them to buy your course? And a quiz could literally be that one CTA because then you can take them where you need to take them and then make the offer versus trying to sell somebody a course that only wants to work with you one on one, right? Like it's so cool and I think such an opportunity for so many online business owners.
Yeah, 100%. And something that I'm hearing a lot recently coming out of the post pandemic slowdown in the economy is that business owners are just simplifying everything,
Yeah.
like simplifying messaging, simplifying value, simplifying website, simplifying everything. And I think you you could get away with a website that had like 10 links to 10 different things in 2018, But today, someone lands on that site and there's like, ah, whatever, next one.
Yeah.
And then they never come back. And it costs so much money to get someone to come to your website. If you think about like everything we do at the very top of the funnel, social content, blogs, guest appearances, speaking events, all of that is just to get someone to come to your website. They come and they're like, there's too many options. They leave, probably not coming back. And that's like a really, really, really expensive mistake.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. I mean, the best implementations that we're seeing now for like a primary quiz, which is what we call a quiz that applies to like your whole business, is just like, yeah, you have your website. Maybe you have a photo of you if you're an influencer or a coach. Maybe you have like a photo of your products if you're in e-commerce, and then just a button to take a quiz.
Yeah.
And that works
And
really
it
well.
does
And then,
everything. It gets them on your email list. I mean, it can literally do everything you need it to do for a top of funnel activity. I'm
yeah,
like, no,
and it
I knew
splinters
this is
out.
what's going to happen, Josh. I'm going to leave this call with like a million new quiz ideas. How to know which
Yeah, and
podcast
that's what
episode is right for you to start with.
that's what we're go take Amy Porterfield's.
Does she have a
She has
podcast
one.
quiz?
Yeah, it's really good. It's a podcast playlist quiz.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, if you just Google that podcast playlist quiz, Amy Porterfield, really good quiz that recommends like a few episodes to get started with because she's got she's got hundreds of episodes and
Mm-hmm.
every single one is good. But like if you're coming for the first time, you might scroll through and be like, I don't know which
Yeah.
one do I listen to first. And then there's a quiz to recommend, and I think it's a great implementation. And yeah, I think there's just like a quiz can splinter out into a million places, but it starts as one button. And that is like, it's just really different
Yeah.
than starting with a whole list of stuff. And, if you've been in business for a while, you probably have lists and lists of content and blogs and podcasts and everything. And it's like, someone comes for the first time, it's like, what do I do? And like discoverability is really tough. And, like organic just continues to decrease. So the odds that someone finds you through a single post or a single podcast just keep going down.
Mm-hmm.
It's more likely that they're going to come to your website these days because you're running an ad or you're promoting things on socials and you have one link in bio. Uh, you know, it's really important to be able to recommend specific things.
Yeah, and it just makes their experience so much better because, like you said before, people that are overwhelmed are not going to do anything, right? That paralysis of analysis. When it's like if it's just really clean experience for them, that really can be such a game changer.
Yeah, I like that analysis paralysis. That's like totally totally the name of the game, especially now. I think, in this time frame we're in where things are kicking back up, things are, coming back online or offline in-person stuff, there's just going to be a lot. And if you're not showing up simple with like a very straightforward path for people, I think they're just going to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I wrote down the podcast playlist. I love that idea. Another idea that was swirling in my head is for affiliate marketing. So I feel like one of the areas that I leave money on the table in my business over and over and over is affiliate marketing. I love it. I'm so passionate about it. It aligns with my core values of like, shining the light on the community members. But I never really like stop what I'm doing to like properly do like a campaign. And as you were talking, I just got to thinking like, ooh, what if it's like a what business tool do you need the most type of quiz? And then no matter which option they choose, it's taking them to like an affiliate like link.
Yeah, Don Richardson has a great quiz for that. It's recommending the right MacBook
Uh-huh.
because she's like a tech expert, but it's the same kind of implementation where you answer the questions and then it says get the MacBook Air, get the MacBook Pro, get the desktop. Like, and it's a great quiz. I would recommend taking that one too. It's a really good implementation. It's really nice and clean and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
that's
you've
like
seen people do
another
it for
great use
affiliate
case.
offers too.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
like a
Why not?
perfect way of like recommending. Because I mean, how often, right, do people ask you like, which email software, or
Yes.
which, course hosting software, right? And then it's like, boom. And that's what Dawn said. She was just on the Interact podcast few people on our team host that podcast, and that's what she said. She was like, people were asking me so often which one to buy. I was like, here,
Yes.
here's a quiz.
Yes, yes, yes. So like really being aware of like what questions is our audience asking like over and over. And that's, oh my gosh, that was like the backbone for my quiz, because when it comes to Facebook groups, all the questions were the same, right? And
Hmm.
being able to put that in one place is like so helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you think about like how many questions do people ask you on a regular basis? Probably a lot. And then you can use the AI to make those quizzes, take you a minute to generate, and then tweak some things, change some copy, whatever. Might take you an hour
Yeah.
and you're done. It's like that's less time than writing a new blog post.
So true. Yeah. Okay. And my next question, when people like get started on Interact, can they do an unlimited amount of quizzes? Or I forget if you guys have different pricing for like one quiz versus 10. What are some of the like perks that people get to using Interact?
Yeah, so now we have a different model where you can sign up free and start making quizzes.
Hmm.
You have to start a subscription to launch those quizzes. You can sign up free and you can make 5 quizzes, and with the AI, so it'll generate those
Oh,
quizzes.
awesome.
And then we have different tiers depending on how many live quizzes you want, but we went pretty conservative on it, where it's like realistically, you're not going to make more quizzes than these numbers
Yeah.
for the tiers based on like the size of your business. So we just try to keep it pretty conservative and let people do their thing without having it be like totally unlimited, because
Yeah.
then you open yourself up to spam and then that hurts our actual customers.
Good point. Yeah, I know. I'm excited now. I'm gonna have to look into doing a couple more. I was so spoiled to have Kylie's help. I know we've talked about Kylie, and I'll link her in the show notes. She's been on the podcast as well, but I think there's something really cool, and we'll kind of start wrapping up with what's next for you guys. But Interact only does quizzes. Like that's all you guys do, and I think that's kind of a lost magical thing in business to just do one thing and do it really, really well. Like, did you guys ever get shiny object syndrome where you're like, oh, actually, we want to do email marketing and SMS and we want to add on all these different features? Or has it been pretty easy to like stay in your own lane?
Yeah, I would say like early years we definitely had shiny object syndrome, some what is that called, whatever that's called. But that was more during the time when there just wasn't much demand for quizzes. It was unclear whether there was a market here or not.
Yeah.
And so we had some like other things that we tried. I would say that all stopped after like maybe the first 3 years. And then it's just been one thing since then. And, our kind of benchmark companies are companies like Porsche, where Porsche basically has one car.
Mm,
Like they sell different versions of it and they have like SUV now, but like the Porsche 911 is basically the car that they make. And they've been doing that for a very long time. And there's a reason why car enthusiasts choose the 911. If they're going to buy one car, that's the car they buy. And that's what we want to be for quizzes. Like, if you're going to choose a quiz software and you're going to truly invest in quizzes for your business, we want to be that option that's so fine tuned and so like has everything that you would think about and scales perfectly with your business and has all the options that you would need. That's what we want to be. And the market has so much room to grow. I mean, it's hilarious. Like in 1996, there's this long Harvard Business Review article. They interviewed all these like senior marketing executives. Every single one said that within a couple years, every website would be interactive and have like a quiz on it.
yeah.
That was hilarious. It didn't happen.
Mm,
Like it's been what, 30 years plus since 1996, and it's just starting to happen.
yeah.
And I don't think people lost sight of it. I think there was just a lot of distractions along the way, and now is the time
And they
when
don't know how to make it
I think
easy, right? Like they don't know how to
exactly.
make it easy, and that's what Interact does and makes it even easier now that you guys have the AI tool of like you can
Yep.
just embed it right on your website. It doesn't take any like fancy code. I mean, you guys have done all the hard work, and I think it kind of makes me feel like in those moments as business owners when we would get so frustrated with like, oh, I need another platform. It's like I got to have I mean, how many subscriptions do I pay for? Like monthly, annually, so many. But it's like, would you rather like have one that does everything mediocre, or kind of have these like really, really white glove experiences, and then it's like that answer becomes so much easier. I mean, even when I learned how to do photography, the reason you don't shoot on automatic is because everything's an average. And if we try to take a tool that does everything, it's just going to be average at everything versus really choosing the marketing tools that are going to be white glove and give us the best experience. It's so important.
Yeah. And I think what's really important there for anybody that is like considering new tools is make sure those tools deeply integrate with your other tools.
Yeah.
That's something that we've done since day one. And like internally, we basically have like an entire part of our business that's just the integrations engine.
Mm,
So you integrate with ConvertKit or Flowdesk or ActiveCampaign or Kajabi or any of them. And we have like a significant portion of our business dedicated to that because you sign up for a new tool, even if it's the best tool in the world, if it does not integrate properly with the rest of your tools, it's like very useless
yeah.
and it will cause you so much extra time and headaches. And you'll constantly being like, why is the data not syncing? And I have leads over here and I have leads over here, and it's all confusing. Make sure whatever you sign up for integrates. And a lot of new flashy softwares don't do this. And it really upsets me because I'm like, you are just like really giving your customers a bad experience.
Yeah.
Like they're going to invest time in your new software, they're going to get excited about it. And then when it comes to actually use it for their business, it's not going to be practical. They're going to have to go use something else. And so make sure that it really integrates the way that you need it to if you're going to use spot solutions. Otherwise, in my opinion, you are better off using it all in one
Yeah.
because something that doesn't plug into your existing tech stack basically useless.
Yeah, I agree. And especially when it's like you have these no-brainer ones. Like I'm Flowdesk for life, right? Like nobody can make me switch to
Mhm.
Flowdesk. So if something doesn't play
Mhm.
nice and it's like, oh, like I'm gonna go find a different one that does. That's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah, and on that, we did get our direct integration with them.
Yeah.
The team over there is awesome, and our team on the engineering side, excellent. So
Yeah.
it's like such a smooth connection now, and
Yeah.
that's been like a huge win for our customer base and their customer base.
Yeah. Yeah. Huge win. So tell us what is next for you guys? I know you're working on the AI stuff, but is there anything else coming up or any exciting projects that we can share?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to continue building that AI. So we were chatting about this in a kind of funny way before the show, but eventually our AI quiz builder will be a consultant
Mm,
that talks to you and extracts your words so that you don't have to go through that process of like use the AI to generate and then edit it yourself. The AI will actually be there with you, talking to you and being like, hey, I like the way that your title is phrased. Maybe consider these other options. It might be more in line with what your audience would want, and then it'll ask you questions and go back and forth. So we're constantly adding to the AI.
mm,
You don't have to do anything. It just goes into the existing product. It's not going to change where you access that, but we're just continuing to build that out because that I think is really powerful
yeah.
in terms of getting the best. Because the best thing is when you, as the business owner, use your voice and your words, and that's how it already works. But there's just so much more room to grow there. So that's what we're really focused on.
Yeah, well, and business owners don't wanna learn how to be the best quiz writers, they just want to quiz for their business, right? So it's like it's allowing AI to kind of use these formulas, like you said, that exist to take the pain points and the messaging and flip it into a quiz. Because that's where my brain really struggled to connect the dots, is like, I know a quiz will work, I know my audience, and I know how to sell to them, but, like, how to reverse engineer that, and I think that's so great that AI is gonna be able to help with that because you even mentioned to me that the best thing that you guys do is this kind of like consultant relationship where you sit down with someone and help them through that process. And now they'll be able to do that from the comfort, like their own time.
Exactly, your own time. If you want to do it at 9 p.m., after your day's over and you have some time to work on something fun, creative project, whatever you want to work on the weekend during the middle of the day, you don't have to like schedule a call or anything. It's just like, boom, hop on. This AI guides you through the whole process, and the AI is me and like interact and what we've learned
Yeah.
over 11 years. And 85 million leads have been generated through our platform. 1.2 billion people have been served up an Interact quiz. So enormous amount of learning that we have.
Yeah.
And then it's just an agent that talks to you the way that I'd talk to you if we were doing a consultation. It's on your own time and doesn't cost an enormous amount of money and helps you get like really, really solid quizzes out. So that's where we want to take it.
So good. And I always, when I'm trying to make these buying decisions, and I'm like, well, I can pay Facebook for ads, or I can pay way less money for this tool that's going to help me get my own leads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think ownership is huge. And like, we didn't get into email lists too much, but like owning your own email list of like engaged subscribers more valuable than it's ever been.
Yeah.
I mean, the reach and the cost on platforms is crazy. Um, it's really not scalable or sustainable unless you own your own list.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so easy to segment with the quizzes. Like we talked about, you can meet people where they're at. And then now you can even email them knowing their specific pain point or the way they answered the quiz, which that really excited me when we set ours up is wait, now I can talk to these people specifically versus trying to talk to the whole list in a way that hits all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I mean, people that just resonates well on a human level. It's like I want to be seen, I want to be listened to, I want someone to talk to me about what I'm trying to do. I don't want to hear like the best thing overall. I mean, sometimes, but that only really applies to stuff like weight loss or like very broad categories.
Yeah.
I think anything that's actually specific to you and like your human experience and your business, you want it to be personal.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Josh, thank you so much. And I know, like we mentioned, you'll be at Elevate and Inspire in just a few weeks. People can come meet you in person. Tell us, what is you guys like favorite? What's your favorite social, or where should people come hang out with you guys?
Yeah, yeah. Our Instagram is great. The team that runs that is really awesome. They're always like retweeting and or not retweeting, resharing. That shows how much I go on social media, which is zero. Um, but the folks that run that are awesome, and it's very collaborative and it's fun experience because we do take like the human connection very seriously, and we have a lot of great partners that interact and a lot of customers that we worked with for years and years. So it's just a fun place to engage and kind of see like what we're up to, what our customers are up to, how we grow with our customers, the stories of our customers over time. So Instagram's definitely the one.
Cool. I love it. We'll put that in the show notes. And it's is it try interact on Instagram? I know your website's
I believe
tryinteract.com,
so.
right?
Yeah. The handle is at Try Interact.
Okay, cool. Yay. We will send everyone there in the show notes. And I cannot wait to see you at our event. And we will also put a link for people to go try Interact for free in the show notes as well. So thank you so much for joining us. And I can't wait to see you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so this is episode 150. So to go get all the links to meet Josh, to check out Interact, you're going to go to elizabethhenson.co/E150. E150. Now, if you want to go back and meet Mitch, our other sponsor, that is episode 141. So elizabethhenson.co/E141. And then if you really want to take a walk down memory lane and revisit the episode with Kylie Lang, who's our quiz funnel expert, when my quiz went live, which we still use that quiz today for leads and sales and to help people figure out why their Facebook group is not engaged, you can head over to episode 107, and that's at elizabethhenson.co/E107. So you can really dive down this rabbit hole learning about quiz funnels and quiz marketing and build an online quiz for your business. We're going to put all the links for you in the show notes for episode 150. So thank you guys so much for being here and listening today. I really hope that you will join us at Elevate and Inspire. By the time this episode goes live, we will be in the very last week of ticket sales. So you are officially running out of time to get registered for Elevate and Inspire. And before we know it, it will be here. And people like Josh are going to be traveling from all over to be at this event and really serve the heck out of our attendees. I cannot wait. So make sure you check that out. That's at elizabethhenson.co/event. And we will see you guys there. Thank you so, so much again to our amazing sponsors.